Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Across the Border series. We've had several conversations about how you can not just move to different countries, but how you can thrive and do well in these countries. If you've been following this series, you will know we've talked about how you can thrive in the US, how you can thrive in Canada, in the UK, how you can thrive in Germany, and how you can also thrive in Norway. Today, we're talking about Canada. You know, I like to describe Canada and UK and the US as the big three. You know how we have the big four when it comes to the accounting firm. I also kind of, in my own way, describe Canada, UK, US because for a lot of people, it's usually their choice when they want to relocate to a new country. And I also need my viewers to understand that moving to a country is not, I mean, having the opportunity to move to a country is not because of just the qualifications that you have. If you know how to harness the opportunities in these countries, you can do really well in those countries. So today, it's a privilege to be having Mr. Adebayo Ajayi to join us on the call today. Welcome, Mr. Adebayo.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So for those of you who don't know him, there's another name we'll call him, Success Bio. Which of them do you prefer?
Hello, anyone? Anyone?
I know, right? Thank you so much. So, Mr. Success Bayo, Mr. Adebayo is a personal excellence coach, and it's such a privilege to have someone like him join us today on the call to share with you how you don't just move to Canada, but how you can thrive and how you can succeed. So, we're going to dive right into the conversation, and as much as possible, we are going to be sharing very practical tips, very practical strategies, and easy to apply things that can help you to succeed in Canada. So, for every session that I've had, I typically will start with one question. There are many countries in the world. I don't know the exact figures of how many countries we have in the world, but then you chose to go to Canada. Could you share with us why Canada was a choice for you?
Okay, very simple. I wanted to move to a country that has a very clear path to citizenship, and when I looked at all the options that I had available to me, it was Canada. So I came in through Canadian Permanent Residency Program, where after coming to Canada after 3 years, you automatically become a citizen if you meet all the requirements. So that was why I chose Canada.
Okay, so does it mean that other countries don't really have that clear paths as
Yes,
you would
I think
describe in
Canada has the
Canada?
fastest. There was a program called the Express Entry, and I think they still do it. But even though the requirements and the qualification process is a bit tougher than it used to be, but Canada had the shortest at that point. When you meet some requirements, you qualify as a permanent resident. You once you move in 3 years after you land in Canada, you can then apply for your citizenship.
Amazing. So, what can you share with us? What has the experience been in Canada like for you? Would you say if I had known, I would have probably tried somewhere else, or you really made the right choice being in Canada?
Yeah. I think I would like to start by saying that there is nowhere in the world that it's 100% easy. Everywhere you get to, there will be pros and cons of it. And I can say for sure, compared to where I was coming from, Canada, it's of course it has been better. Everything around me has been better. So, when you talk about career, my business, financial, mental states, clarity, and everything, I can say for me, that's a win-win for me. And if I'm to, go on this journey again, I would definitely still proceed to Canada as planned.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, for a lot of people, when they move to a new country, there's typically this struggle that they have initially, settling in, trying to understand what it is. Did you have those kind of struggles? And what are those struggles, if you could share with
Yes.
us?
Um, do I have struggles? Did I add any struggle? I think
Mm.
every change, there's a very nice philosopher. He said, Heraclitus. He said, change is the only constant thing. And I think,
Yeah.
for every change you go to, there are calls. And at the end of the day, the last line of that call is adaptation. You get used to it and all. So I think I kind of planned for my move. I applied for my permanent residence program in 2019, and COVID came and COVID hit. So
Yeah.
it was like 2 years delay, and I didn't get my whole approval until November 2021 to be precise. And so I had about 2 years after applying, before I got my papers. I
Yeah.
tried to understand the terrain of where I was coming to. I used to work as a project manager in Nigeria, and of course I wanted to continue as a project manager. So one of the things I did was research to tell myself that, okay, as a project manager, what are the transferable skills I have? And then I saw that I needed to have like a global certification in project management, which is the PMP, Project Management Professional. So I took the exam. That's just like to let you know that I tried as much as possible to prepare before coming here. Coming here where my preparation like 100% enough? Absolutely not. You have to understand, the way people think. You have to understand the way people talk. You have to understand how to fit into the environment. But to be honest, the change was not too severe because I prepared for the job.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I'm going to really emphasize on the preparation because for a lot of people, preparing for them is just apply, gather your money, whatever you need to gather, buy all the food you need to buy in Nigeria before you relocate. But talking about preparation that positions you for easy access into the society. And when I say easy access to the society, I mean easy access into settling in and living the kind of life that you want to live. Now, you talked about taking a certification, for instance, in your own field. Um,
Okay.
are there other things that you think somebody who is looking to relocate to Canada needs to prepare before going? Because in this session, we're talking to three categories of people. One is those who are looking to relocate, we're talking about also those who are already there, probably just relocated, and then those who are there or who have been there for some time, but are literally just surviving. They are not thriving. So these are like the three categories of people that we're addressing in this series. So apart from the professional certification that you've talked about, could you share other things that people can or people should prepare themselves when they have to relocate to Canada about?
Yes. Very, 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 and I like that. Preparation is very easy. Henry Ford once said that when preparation meets opportunity, success is
Common
inevitable.
success.
And one, what's the most important thing about you? Your environment. If you are coming with your family, in Canada we have about I think 7 or 8 provinces. So you need to know which province do I want to come to. Is it Calgary? Sorry, is it Alberta? Is it Manitoba? Is it Saskatchewan? Is it Ontario? Is it Nova Scotia? Like you need to know exactly what you need to do. So that's one preparation. What province do I want? Number two, you need to talk about careers as well. What are you doing in Nigeria? Is it transferable?
Yeah.
And if it's not, what exactly do I need to do to be able to fit in into that space and all? And those are the kind of preparations you need to make. The third one is finances as well. Is a different ball game entirely in Canada. Canada is an environment that um, in Nigeria we pay house rent once a year, for example.
Yeah.
In Canada you pay every month, and you're not paying like tiny money. Your house rent or your mortgage is probably about 40 to 60% of what you earn. So you have to plan
Wow.
for those things. And that's why you see people as old as 70, 80 years old in Canada are still working in Walmart. They are doing one or two things because
Yeah.
it's a system that if you play now, you pay in the future. So it's that for you to pay
Mm,
now and play in that future. So there are
yeah.
dynamics to how you are able to manage the environment and manage, what you are really going to do in terms of how you want to work, your finances, your career, your family. So those are the kind of preparations that you need to do. So just ask yourself, what are the things that really matter to me? Then plan yourself accordingly.
Thank you so much. So, speaking about looking at the things that are transferable in terms of for somebody who is looking to, continue their career in
Yeah.
Canada, how relevant is the Nigerian certificate? I'm using Nigerian now, as the yardstick. How relevant is the Nigerian certificate in Canada?
Yeah, I think one thing I must say is that in terms of educational certificates, a lot of people here they just have like a college degree and they don't even have
Okay.
university or master. Nigeria after first degree, everybody rush for masters because they're trying to,
Yeah.
uh, you know, to get leverage. And I think in Canada, they don't really care so much about what school did you finish from and all those things. They care about your experiences. And I must say that. So they'll pick experience over education. As long as that first degree, you're pretty chilled with that. So it's now your experience. Now, there are some companies that will tell you, like if you're in sales and marketing, they'll preferably want you to have like a sales experience. Like, have you sold something in Canada or no? But there are some countries, there are some companies that they don't care about wherever like project manager, you manage projects in Nigeria, you can manage projects here. They don't really care about where you've worked, where you've operated. However, there is an underlying tone which people don't really pay attention to. There's a way you can talk about what you have done in Nigeria in the Canadian way that they can relate with. I was in a meeting yesterday and someone said that she went for an interview and she was like, oh, she has done an educational sales role and she traveled from
Yeah.
Kaduna to Abuja. How do you want them to know what Kaduna or Abuja is? How do you want them to know how far that distance is? So, you know, even
Yeah.
though they don't care about the Canadian experience, you have to speak their language. So, and then that's why you have to carry out your research. Okay, what are the cities that are close by? What are the cities and what's the distance that can use to correlate, Canada and Nigeria as well. So,
Nigeria.
like, you have to speak the language. So, a lot of times, a lot of the people think, oh, they don't like your Nigerian degree. But one of the things I always say for sure is that you have to speak the language of that's speak Canadian language. That's one. Number two, um, we are in a world that is very complex. So there's still bias, whether it's cognitive bias, whether it's the stereotypes, there's still bias. Sometimes I always say, for example, if you worked in maybe MTN, on your resume, don't ever put MTN Nigeria. Put MTN because some
Mm,
recruiters will say MTN Nigeria and automatically just pick bias about that. So try to
mm,
avoid things that can make them unnecessarily victimize you when there is no need for that. If you get to an interview and they ask you, okay, which LD MTN, then you can say MTN Nigeria. At least they've heard you, they know that you are knowledgeable, you have stuffs already. But if you already
yeah.
turned them over and put MTN Nigeria, there's this bias that because the world is really complex. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. I think I really like the angle you're coming from and how you are having this conversation because, like I said, the essence of this series is to give people the secrets to thriving in this country. So now you know from the response of Mr. Bayo that it's not enough to apply to companies with a Nigerian degree. It's how you sell that experience to them that matters. So it's important to even understand how you can sell yourself to them even before getting there, so you don't get frustrated when they begin to you know, give you the oh, we regret to inform you, we regret to inform you kind of email. So I want us to talk about something in respect to work. I believe that in some countries there are some career paths that thrive really well. I don't want to talk tech because I know tech literally thrives everywhere. But for somebody who is saying, I do something in Nigeria, but I'm not so sure what I would like to do in Canada. I would want to do something in Canada that is a thing. So I don't know if you can share with us some career paths that you think somebody who is in that state of confusion
Yeah.
and looking to, pick up something when they get to Canada can consider in terms of success.
And I like this question because this question is so good and so important. You have to understand the dynamics of your environment. There are some, you cannot do botany in Nigeria or come here and look for botany job. Nobody really cares about that. So some careers that would always be
Yeah.
relevant. Accounting is always relevant. If you're a lawyer in Nigeria, you have to start all over again here because you have to understand their laws of the land as well. Medicine would always try, but you have to go back to
Yes.
school as well. Project management, hot cake, all most companies want to innovate, implement, or start new things. So for sure, project management is hot cake.
Yeah.
Business analysis, cyber security. The world is advancing massively into the artificial intelligence regime, and of course, the more AI infusion, the more we need to watch our back, and that's why cybersecurity would forever
Yeah.
work right. Project management,
PMP.
cybersecurity. Yeah, PMP is project management certificate, business analysis, agile, scrum, accounting, finance, logistics, supply chain, and I'm sure there are other ones I've not talked about. Yeah,
Mm. Okay, thank you so much. So if you're looking to go to Canada, you're not sure what to do, what skill to pick up, this is your clue on what you can consider when you're looking to relocate to Canada. All right, so can we talk about the culture shocks that you experienced
yeah,
when you got to Canada? Because I'm sure that there were a lot of culture shocks for you.
yeah.
I mean, the society is quite different from ours. Could you share some of these culture shocks and how you
Yes,
you went through them?
Communication, I used to think I was an excellent communicator and all. But when I came to Canada and I was talking, what are you saying? You talk too fast. I talk too fast this week.
You
They
talk
were not
too
hearing me.
fast. Interesting.
They said I was talking
Wow.
too fast and they were not hearing me. And they are the ones that talk too fast. If you hear them, they were not really hearing me. I was not pronouncing my words correctly because if you notice in Nigeria, our curriculum was a British curriculum. In America, they have American curriculum, entirely different. So some of their pronunciations are different. They were not really hearing me, and before I knew it, I started feeling like I don't understand English at all. So it was a very big deal. I'm not going to lie to you. I had to pronounce my words carefully, clearly, calmly, and of course my accent was still there. So one of the things I always say about life is that when you see something that you cannot change, use that as your advantage. So yeah, my accent, when I'm talking, at least they know it's Adebayo that is talking. So I use that as my advantage. So yeah, communication was a big deal. They were not really hearing me clearly. Number two is the ways of working. Canada is so principled and orderly that you know um is a how will I put it now? Canada is a bit different from whatever we are used to. Extremely different than whatever we are used to. So
Yeah.
we need to, just there's a lot of cultural shock I experienced, to be very honest with you. Transportation system is totally different. You have to start driving license test again and also,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a different thing entirely. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you so much. So I want us to talk. Let's sit a little bit on the work culture, because I'm thinking in my head that somebody who doesn't understand that there are things they should expect when it comes to the Canadian working system would get there, and probably from their first week they're already messing things up and they're asked to go. So I wanted to share what the work culture in relation to what the work culture in Nigeria could be. What is it over there in Canada that somebody who is looking to go should prepare their mind towards?
So work culture, they want people that are chatty, like visible. You can be doing your work and you don't say anything, they won't care about you. So they want someone that they can see around, going from desk to desk, looking for what is not missing. Very important. They want someone that is a good communicator as well. What else? When you have a brag sheet or performance sheet, like when you do something great, write it down. Because at the end of the day, someone can say something like, "Oh, I did not see your impact," which necessarily is not the truth as well. So
Yeah.
those are the things that some of the things I can talk about the work. The work is totally different. The culture is um chatty chatty. To be honest, you can be doing your work excellently well, but if they can't hear you speak, they can't hear you talk in the meetings, they will believe that you're not good enough. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So if you're to go back again in time to when you just relocated to Canada, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently? Hmm. Very good question. I've never thought about this question. What would I do differently?
Really? Okay.
What would I do differently if I was to come to Canada again? Okay, so probably if I'm to come to Canada again, I'll prepare for a lot of uncertainty because I realized that in Canada, people's risk tolerance level is very low. For example, in Nigeria, if you lose your job, maybe you can still survive. In Canada, if you lose your job in 2 3 months, oh my god, there's serious crisis. Like I said, you pay house rent every month.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's what I would have done. And I've tried to prepare for a lot of uncertainties more.
Okay. Speaking about uncertainty, would you say that the doggedness of the Nigerian in you also helps in one way or the other when you go to Canada? We Nigerians
Absolutely.
are known for resilience.
Nigerians are yeah, that's what I'm saying now. I was reading an article yesterday and I realized that Nigerians are 3 times more to go into business than a typical um indigent. So I agree with you.
Okay. So we are getting close to wrapping up the session. But I have a few more questions I want us to touch on. And one of them would be for you to for somebody, I want to give an advice to somebody who is looking to relocate. What are the things you think, in terms of mindset, for instance, that they should prepare themselves towards ahead of their journey to Canada?
number one, prepare. Like I said, every aspect of your life, try to look at how you can, leverage that to your current or future life, like coming to Canada. Your finance in Canada is not, what you used to be in Nigeria. You have
Yes.
to be able to, how will I put this now? You have to be able to plan ahead, plan what you have. Do not eat everything. That's one. Number two, your career. What exactly do you want to do in Canada? You have to, try to map that. What are the certifications? Is there any new certification you need to do to practice that same thing in Canada as well? That's very important. um Number three, your environment as well. People just move to one province. Oh, my friend is in this province, let me go there. But you have to look at the kind of job you want and the kind of provinces that allows that, and the cost of living that you need to target. So these are some of the things I'm going to say. When you come to Canada, every aspect of your life, finance, career, business, family, location, try as much as possible to ask questions, check online, and know. When I was coming to Canada, I realized that there were not as many immigrants like now in Canada. So I created a very good community. I created it. It's called Nigerians in Ontario. Ontario is my province where I live. That's Toronto area now. And I created like a WhatsApp group where we all share materials, learnings and all. And the group has expanded into three different WhatsApp groups. And in total, we're almost 2,000 people on that group. And the amazing part is that a lot of people on that group that they did not even know how that group started. I was when I started the group. And we're about almost
Yeah.
2,000 people. So I don't mind sharing the link with you as
Yes, I
well,
want
so
to
that
get
you
it.
can put that
Yeah.
in the chat or
Mm.
on the YouTube link or something, so that
Section,
anyone that wants
yeah.
to come can then join the link to ask some questions. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You know, when you mentioned 2000, you know what came to my mind? Why are Nigerians running away? Why we are
Um,
running away?
yeah, there are many links actually. I think one of them is 800, the other one is 600, one of the other one is about 500 as well.
Hmm, it is well. All right. So we've been talking a lot about those who are looking to relocate. I want us to touch on people who are there already, and
Okay.
it's like they have just been, literally struggling to survive. Now, it means that they have to know how to reposition themselves. So could
Yeah.
you speak to those categories of people?
Yeah. I think I've seen a lot of people that way in Canada. And one, they did not prepare for this journey. Number two, you can even prepare for this journey, and you can come to say, what, in 6 months I'm going to land a job because I'm doing well in Nigeria. Now, guess what? You might not land a job in 2 years. What will
Mm,
really happen to you? So a lot of people are also in that category, which means that they prepared, but they are in their risk plan. They plan for 6 months of no jobs, but it has come to 2 years. It's not their fault. We just
yes.
have to keep going. So one of the things I can say is that if you're in that space, ask yourself, what can you do with what you have now? Which small job can you pick at least to get the bills running? Number two, what exactly do you want to do? Do not rush again into it. Plan for it. You want to take some certifications, some courses, you want to even go into business. Do not rush into your next decision. Try to attack the immediate needs now, because one thing in Canada is that once the bids are piled, frustration setting. And once frustration setting, you'll be able to have clarity to make sound decision. So try as much as possible to keep the bills low, as much as possible, and then do not rush into your next decision. Have enough plan to be able to do the next thing you want to do.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Bayo. This is a super insightful session. I have just a few more questions to go, and we'll wrap up the session. Um, when you talked about a possibility of someone being in Canada and for 2 years the person is looking for a job. Now in Nigeria, one of the things I would probably do is, okay, since I'm waiting for a job and a job is not coming, let me just pick up a business and just go into a business. How easy is it for somebody who is thinking of the option of going into business? How easy is it for someone like that in Canada, especially maybe given the laws that surround businesses, or maybe because they're also immigrants? How easy is it?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If I ask you in Nigeria that what is the main reason people don't start business, what's the answer?
The main reason why they don't start business,
Yes.
um, I would think that there are different reasons. For some people, maybe they don't have the capital, which is
Thank you.
fundamentally like the
That's
reason
it.
for a lot of people.
That's it. In
Yeah.
Canada, you have access to as much loans, grants as much as possible.
Yeah.
So in Canada, money is never the problem. So in Nigeria,
Okay.
money is the problem to the business. In Canada, you can have
Yeah.
access to government loans, grants, banks, like
Mm,
just pay interest.
yeah.
So do you get my point? In Canada,
Yeah.
money is not the problem. So if money is not the problem, what then is the problem? Why people don't start
Idea.
business? People have ideas. Nigerians have ideas.
Okay.
Yeah. Of unknown. You know what it means to have a business and you're not making money from the business and your
Mm,
bills are piling up. Yeah. Some people they want to go into business, but tyranny of now, like their current job is inhibiting them from planning for their future. So one thing I
yeah.
can say is that have a solid plan. When I say solid plan, what you want to do, have that clarity, put a lot of contingency to say that okay, if this business don't work out, what's the next thing? So that's the only advice to that before you go into business, have a career,
Yeah.
use your business at the side also. Once your business can fund itself, you can pull out of the career and focus on your business.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Speaking about business, interestingly, I'm hoping I'm trying to make an arrangement for this though. I'm hoping that after this across the border series, we could talk about businesses in different more like how to the businesses that one can consider in different location, and I hope that somebody who is watching this would take advantage of that session when we commence conversations around that. So Mr. Bayo, can you share, this is the second to the last question, can you share with us the various parts to coming to Canada for somebody who is saying, I think I would like to go to Canada? What are the various parts and what is expected of people?
Okay. Number one, I'm not an immigration consultant, so I always tell you, I always
Disclaimer.
tell you transparency. So,
Yeah.
one, you can come to the student route. If you come as a student, you can then, I think you have to do masters, no longer the certificate course that used to be. Come as a masters, and you get a job. They can give you 3 years post study permits and all. Number two is express entry. There's still express entry opportunity, but the scores are higher, so you probably have to have a masters and some kind of curriculum like French. You have to go and learn French and all. And number three, they usually pick care workers, farmers, and um, some trade skills as well. So these are the kind of routes that exist. However, you can check ircc.org. There are a lot of routes there as well. I think
Okay.
policies keeps changing, so it's better for you to just check it out yourself.
All right. Thank you so much. So
You're welcome.
the last question is maybe not a question. Lastly, just share with us one um share with us. I'm trying to look. I think somebody dropped a question dropped a comment. I don't know if it's a question. Um 100% loan. Okay, so it's a question actually. I considered talking to a friend over there, and she sent me a link that will last for 10 years, and it's 100% loan. Is it a wise advice?
Hmm. Is the person in Canada? The person that's okay. So if you get a loan and you are going to run a business to pay back the money, why not? A lot of us when we hear the word debt, we think is a problem. They are good debts, good money that
Yeah,
are going to use to make money, and that's why when you look at people like Dangote and Dollars and the rest, they owe people money, but they have more
yeah,
money. So
yeah.
taking a loan to run a business and all, there's absolutely nothing wrong there. As long as they have a plan to pay it back, that's what works.
All right, thank you. Let me just speak to this with asking a question as well. Does it mean that because the way you say it's okay, it's a loan for schooling,
Okay,
if
loan
I
for
see what I'm
schooling,
saying?
that's
Yes.
risky because you might plan to get a job. What if you don't get a job immediately? How do you want to pay it back? And guess
Mm,
what as well? You might if the loan is a long-term loan, it might not be bad. Okay, I think that it's supposed to say 10 years, right?
yes, 10
If
years.
you're going to school for just 2 weeks, 2 years, and you have 8 years to pay back the loan, and the loan is payable, why not? People come to the indigents here, they take student loan to
Yeah.
go to school and they pay it back as well. But as much as possible, run your numbers and be sure that what you're going to do makes sense.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for answering that question. Is there, because the way you, for most of the things that we have said now, it looks like there are no challenges that immigrants face. Is that really the case? When I say
There are
there are no
challenges.
challenges, are there differences in treatment from the government when it comes to immigrants?
No, there's no. From government, absolutely. Whatever, if they, and if you come in, it also depends on how you, if you come in as a student, there are some benefits you don't have, you are not going to be entitled to. If you come in as a permanent resident or citizenship, you have you everything that anyone can get, you can get it.
Okay, okay. All right. So one last advice. Could you share with my viewers one last advice, someone who's trying to come to Canada, why you think Canada is a good place for them to consider?
Before you come to Canada, you need to know why you're coming to Canada. Because when things get tough, is that reason that you will use to encourage yourself. And nowhere is easy, nowhere is all bed of roses. Know that you are stronger than you think you are. So when
Yeah.
you experience any challenge, don't let that challenge take you out and say, what, I feel defeated. No. Why are you coming to Canada? What's the purpose? Because of your friend? Then that's the problem. So if your reason is very strategic,
Yeah.
my major aim of coming to Canada is I want a global opportunity, and
Yeah.
that's it for me. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. I that was supposed to be the last, but someone just dropped a question. The person who is asking about the loan for school. So she's asking if she can come with her kids as a student. Does the
Common your
system
kids
allow
as parents is
that?
allowed, but that's an extra cost for you, so you need to know that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bayo. It was such a good time with you. And to everyone who joined the call, thank you so much for sparing us this minutes that you have spared today to listen to
Thank
what
you.
we've had to say about how you can thrive in Canada. And please do not forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. We have conversations like this more and more. The goal is to help you become better and, of course, to do better in all areas of your life. I'm going to put in the description some of the things that Mr. Bayo had mentioned that you could check out as resources when you're looking to go to Canada. I'm also going to put his social media handles for you to follow him, see the things he does. He does really amazing things, and you really want to be a part of it and not miss out on them. Once again, thank you so much. Till we'll see you in our next episode. Have a wonderful week ahead. Bye, guys.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.